Sally Rooney, Mr. Salary. This short story, it's a hard no for me. Hi, my name's Alana. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, it's just, a nerd talking about books. And today, we are going to be talking about a book. It's not really a book, it's a short story called Mr. Salary by Sally Rooney that I did not like. The reason why I picked this up is I actually have this, and I have her 3 full-length novels or full stories novels. I'm tired. So I also own her 3 novels. I have not read any of them. This is my first introduction to Sally Rooney. The reason why I have all of her works currently that are well, not all of her. I'm pretty sure that she has some other stuff written, maybe short stories, but I have all of her novels that she's written in this short story is because I have a little reading project that I've assigned myself because I'm a nerd. And I will be doing a little reading project on millennial fiction and picking out some of and kind of diving into it when it comes to the themes and stuff that they talk about and that millennials tend to talk about in their novels. But that could be a whole nother video. So of course I had to put Sally Rooney up there, even though I knew, or I kind of know, I have a hunch that I'm not going to get on with her, and I did not like this. I try to be as honest as possible when it comes to book reviews, and Sally Rooney is a beloved author. People love her. People also don't like her writing. I think I'm going to be one of those people. But I always endeavor to be honest. I am not going to say that I like a book just because it's popular. I mean, I think that's boring. Why would you want everybody to like everything that you like? Let's do this. All right, let's jump into this. And yeah, this was a struggle. So this is a short story about a young lady. She's in her early 20s. Her name is Suki, and she lives with a man who is older than her in his late 30s named Nathan. And Nathan's older sister married one of Suki's uncles. Yeah, that's how they're acquainted. The reason why they're living together is because it's evident pretty early on that Suki has had a troubled home life, and so she moved out. She no longer, was living with her parents, and so she ended up being taken under the roof of Nathan. And she's now back home in Ireland during this little short story from Boston. She is a university student for a winter break. And it's evident also that Suki and Nathan definitely have some chemistry. There's an attraction there. And it also is evident in this, I was going to say novel, but this little short story that Suki's father has cancer. So she is, again, trying not to mess with my hair too much. Maybe if I just keep it down my back and touch it. So Suki is processing her father having cancer. She's also trying to figure out what to do about Nathan and this attraction that they've got going on. If you see me looking down, I have my review actually written out so that I can hit all the points, which is, if I have it written on Instagram anyway, I might as well just use the same content, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So again, like I said, you guys know me. Well, some of you know me because some people are watching me now from the YouTube world. So not YouTube, but some of my Instagram book friends have followed me here. So hi, thank you for being so faithful and loyal. But you know me, I am blunt. If I like something, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like it. But I'm going to tell you why. I'm not just going to say like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. But I'll back up what I say. So this short story is so odd that the whole time I was reading, and it's thin. And it's petite. It's only 34 pages. And you're not getting a lot of text on each page, which is fine. It's a short story, right? But this is so odd. I rolled my eyes so many times during this, and I kept saying out loud, what is this? Side note, I have a sound card that somebody gave me, and once I figured out how to hook it up with this and make it work with the adapters and stuff that I have, I need that thing to bleep out, self-censor myself. But I'll figure out how to do that in the future. The writing style is blunt, which I expected for Sally Rooney. I knew that going in, and I don't mind blunt writing. It can actually be just as difficult to write in a sparse, direct style as it can be to write in a flowery and descriptive manner. And that doesn't, again, that doesn't bother me if the author pulls it off well. If you want to look at some of the best bare bones, almost thin writing, you can look at the ancient Greeks. They mastered that skill. Look at the Odyssey, look at the Iliad. There are very simple similes and metaphors used to describe things, but it's done in a way that's very poignant and evocative. No one else has really been able to do that like the Greeks, but there are also other writers who do this well. For me, this was a fail. It is so blunt that it's jarring. It didn't come across as elegant at all to me. And there are other authors that I think that do this really well. John Williams, the author of Stoner, Dorothy Whipple, who I think needs more recognition. Persephone Books is a publisher who has published all of her novels. But so Dorothy Whipple's another one. Elizabeth Taylor, Barbara Pym. I would probably put Barbara Pym up there. She is blunt, she's acerbic, she's direct, but she still knows how to hit the nail on the head, give it a home run with very few words. That is a difficult skill, and Barbara Pym, I think I would put right up there. But for me, the use of simile and metaphor here is a bit elementary and cliche. There were some metaphors that were in this book or similes that if I had written them in a high school English paper, I know for a fact my English teachers would have highlighted it, circled it, and said, didn't we just take a class on how not to be cliche? Try again. So it just, and here's one that I read it and I was like, no. My face was cold, burning with cold, red like a traffic light. That's it, and I'm not feeling it. And that's just me. It's just not my cup of tea. Like I said, yes, this is a short story, and constructing a short story is not easy. The writer has very little space to have for a beginning, a middle, and an end to get the message home, hit it out the park, leave the reader with the sense of, I totally got what that was about, and wrap it up in a nice tidy bow, or however the writer wants to wrap it up. But the reader should still feel like they had a reading experience. To me, this felt disjointed, and it felt a bit like Rooney was trying too hard to make this deep by piecing in other events to symbolize Suki's inner existential crisis that she's got going on between her father's cancer, battle with cancer, and this issue with Nathan that's going on between her relationship with Nathan. And there's this really weird and random boat scene where she's leaving the hospital from visiting her father. She's walking in the rain, and there are these people at this bridge or whatever looking at this lifeboat. And, what is it? Is it a dead body? What is it? And it turns out to seem, it's just weird. And I'm just like, that could have been taken out, and that word count could have been used to actually create more character development for the reader between Suki and Nathan, because that's really the focal point here. And I get that scene is supposed to be some symbolism, but it fell very, very flat for me. There are several times that I winced throughout this novel. Not novel, I keep calling it a novel because I mainly read novels. I winced several times throughout this 34-page little short story, especially between the dialogue between Suki and Nathan. And it was so cringy. I'm not even going to quote some of it for you because it was so cringy that if I say it on YouTube might censor me. Yeah. It didn't work for me. But I will say to play devil's advocate, I will try to be fair here. I can see what appeals to people about Sally Rooney, because there are a few sentences that did a pretty good job relaying things that most people will experience at some point in their life. And so I pulled out 3 quotes to kind of prove that point. So here's a good one, especially over the past 2 years that we've all gone through. I think this quote definitely will resonate with a lot of people. It says, "It was my nature to absorb large volumes of information during times of distress, like I could master the distress through intellectual dominance." Here's another one that Suki is kind of giving the reader a little bit of insight about what the relationship was like with her father. "He was unpredictable, but I didn't cower in terror of him and his attempt at manipulation, though heavy, were never effective. I wasn't vulnerable to them. Emotionally, I saw myself as a smooth, hard little ball. He couldn't get purchase of me. I just rolled away." And then this is how Suki talks about Nathan. "My love for him felt so total and so annihilating that it was often impossible for me to see him clearly at all." So yeah, I mean, I think that those quotes, I think there are definitely people who could relate to them, but for me, it feels angsty and teenage, like maybe, I don't know, like for me, there are grown people, I mean like 30s, 40s, 50s who get on with Sally Rooney's writing and her novels. But for me, maybe it's my personality. I don't vibe with that, as the youngins say. They be vibing with everything. Alana didn't vibe with that. It's a little whiny for me. I don't like whining. I don't like angst. It's not my cup of tea. It's funny that I don't like I don't care for her blunt writing. I'm a very blunt person in a lot of ways, but this to me just, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a little too angsty for me. I feel like it's trying a little bit too hard to be something trying hard to be super deep, and it doesn't need to be. Sometimes you can try to be too deep, and it ends up being detrimental to the work. Let's wrap this up. I need to pull myself together. So again, I know a lot of people love Sally Rooney. And this is my first intro to her, but for me right now, she's a hard no. But to each their own. I may get some flack for this review, both on Instagram and on YouTube, for saying this, nope, this is not for me. I didn't like it. I don't care for her writing. I really don't think it's that great. But again, I don't really care, because freedom of speech and freedom of opinion. I mean, I think it's a boring world if, people feel like they need to always like something or say they like something because an author is popular and an author has won an award. I really don't care. If I don't like it, I don't like it. So if you love Sally Rooney, keep on loving her. No skin off my nose. I mean, there are people who hate my favorite books. Like, I love Jane Eyre, my favorite book of all time. And I know there are people who don't like Jane Eyre, and they have reasons for why they don't like it. I am not offended. Like, my opinion is independent of your opinion. Like, 2 opinions can coexist at a time. I will still, that was a tangent. I will still read her 3 novels that I own, because again, I'm reading it for a larger purpose. I'm reading it to put it into, I'm putting it in with other novels from millennial authors that I'm reading. But when I finish all of the novels that I have from her, I will do a whole recap of Sally Rooney. And you never know. Maybe there is something, maybe one of her books I may think is okay, or maybe I'll actually like. I don't know. But right now, I'm not feeling too confident. Even when I was writing up this review, I was getting angry. But anyway, I will persevere through her other novels for the sake of this reading project, because it is a means to an end. And when I do have an end goal in mind, I can typically push through and get done what I need to get done. And I'm hoping that there will be something in the others that maybe I can get on with at least just a little bit. But other than that, pray for me, people. Pray for me. I'm going to need it, because I really just I gave this a 1 out of 5. Didn't like it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you like rant reviews, I really hope you enjoyed this. If you like Sally Rooney, I still hope you enjoyed this. I hope I could have been a little bit entertaining for you. If you liked it, please tell me why. I still love to hear why people like things that I may not have liked, and it's what makes the world interesting. And if you liked this video, if you didn't like it, I don't care. Go ahead on and like. Go ahead and subscribe. If you hit the dislike button, hit the dislike button, because freedom of speech. And feel free to follow me on Instagram. My link is below. If you want to read some of my other book reviews that I've done in the past at this point, this book review should be posted at this point on my Instagram and my blog. Feel free to read them if you want to refer back to my thoughts. So yeah, I do have a blog for those people who were like, I ain't got time for Instagram, which I totally understand. So I have been talking for 3 hours at this point because I had to film one video 3 times, not this one, another one. So I'm tired. I'm going to go make myself some dinner and I'm going to call it a day. And I hope that this review was entertaining to you. So yeah, peace.